Hello everyone, and a massive welcome to Fallout Play Build Collect. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you're all well. This video is the first build video of sorts, because today we're going to go back to Sanctuary Hills and look back at the very first settlement I ever built on my first playthrough of the game. I haven't been back here for years. This is Xbox One, no mods, vanilla game, no DLCs. Mods were only really dreamed of by console players at this time. And this is my first playthrough. This is completely unaltered. I haven't changed anything. This is exactly as it was when I played through the game for the first time. So let's head down into Sanctuary, and I'll see you down by the bridge. So here we are at the bridge. I thought I'd start here since this is where you start in the game when we first load up. And this is also an area we get attacked from. I've just got these wooden walls here on the stilt floors. Of course, real world you just crawl under them, but of course that's not a factor in the game. Did intend to go back and put some of the wire fences along the bottom. Let's head inside. Now, the original idea of this defensive position was going to be more fleshed out, and never got around to finishing it. But we was going to have guard posts on towers at either end of the wall, and some turrets on top. Now you can see here that I've boarded up the carport using the same system. And this was a good position to come when you get raiders attacked from that direction. Now inside the buildings, all the buildings are empty. See there, absolutely everything's empty. And all the backs of the buildings have all been blocked up. And as you head down the street, you'll notice as we look around I've actually used the same system to board up between the buildings as well. There's Trashcan Carla. Hi Carla. Of course I later found out that walls are semi-pointless, as attackers will spawn inside your settlement. Of course I didn't know that at the time. So we come around now. This was originally another wall section that was turned into a building. Some moot fruit plants and some lighting on the front.
Things are tough now, but they'll get better.
Oh, cheers Preston, that's really useful. Thanks mate. Very basic structure, all wooden pieces. Plenty of wood at the start of the game, of course, when we first start scrapping things. Very basic inside here. Just a few beds. Extremely minimal decoration. This was going to be a male dorm room, a little bit of an RP. Of course the settlers end up wandering into any old bed even if you assign them. Oh, that whistling. God, I forgot how annoying Preston is. Nice flat area at the top here. This is one of my guards. I try to dress them all in the same outfits. Another little RP thing I like to do. A spotlight here. Of course, you get attacked from there in the dark, so the spotlight helps. It's nowhere near bright enough. And this section up the top was going to be another defensive position, with a guard post and fences, which never got finished. Next to the dorm room we have another structure that started off originally as a defensive fence and was later modified. I added a garden section, very basic, just some carrots and some potatoes. And then the original wall was more heavily modified into this defensive structure. Gangway above and below, and these fences glitched into the bushes to give you this little position over here that you can come and shoot at some raiders if you get attacked from that direction. And now we have the water refinery. These water refiners were originally down in a small stream, and they were rug glitched up here. That was one of the first things I saw how to do on YouTube back in the early days of people broadcasting their videos. Defensive section up here. Another thing you can look out for raiders. I'm not sure how feasible having the water over here was, but it gave me a chance to contract the size of the settlement and put this wall all the way around. Overall, looking back, considering I didn't know what I was doing in the early game, I quite like the overall look of it. Just put some more food down, just some razor grain and some corn there, just to take the blankness off the wall really more than anything else. And now we come to what was the first building I ever built in Fallout 4. Originally this was just the lower level, and it was a dorm room, just beds and some basic containers. All matching wall pieces, looks very utilitarian. But it was the very first thing I'd built, so I was just experimenting with the shapes that you could do in the game. And eventually when I built the second level, I came back to this first level and turned it into this lounge section. I was really interested in how the settlers interacted with all the objects. It was something I'd never seen in a game before. I quite like the way the bars look. This little structure, I wouldn't mind coming back to this and redecorating it now with all the mods and things we have. And do something a bit more complex with it. But I think for the early game it looked okay. The second section, really didn't know exactly what I was doing. I had loads of space and just tried to put some bits in here to try and make it look like a lived-in room, more of a lounge type of room. A pool table and just a few decorations up. More tables to sit at. And eventually added the shop. As we come outside, you can see we've got the settlement gathering bell there. And a little basketball hoop. I put a basketball in this little box at the back. Oh no, that missed it. Oh god, avoid Preston, avoid him. Okay, close call. This is where the original entrance to this building was. And I closed it up and put these stairs in, leading up to a higher level. Oh god, no, it's Yun. Get away from him before he says something depressing. Poor guy, lots of trauma. Now on this top section, this originally had a door on it, and this was changed as well. Just made it open plan, just easier to come up from the stairs from either direction and just walk straight in. And as you can see, dog meat lives up here. He's nice and dry up here, gets him out of the way. Scrapping station there. It means that you can get settlers come up here and interact with the room a little bit more. I always used to put these containers next to the workbenches with all the weapons and mods all ready to go when you want to modify something. Everything's to hand. This window there was to look out and see Trashcan Carla. There she is. Great to just run out there with your water reserves and any weapons you didn't need. Get some caps for the early game. Food storage. It's a bit sad that we got 3 similar containers, but of course limited in the early game. Basic containers. I like to be really organised with all my stuff. I like to put weapons and explosives in different boxes. Anything I'll need, it's all to hand. These containers, I called them the drop containers. Whenever I came back from a mission, I'd come here and I'd drop all the various clothing, armour and weapons into these various containers and sort them out later. And now we look at the power armour I'd collected early game. Really didn't know what I was doing, just collecting it, putting it together. I really like these lights. I think they look great. I was pleased when I got the magazine that unlocks those for you. Coming up now into what was my player's own bedroom. And of course it doesn't work because the settler will come up and sleep in your bed. Even if you assign them a bed, you'll still come back and find someone in your bed when you want to sleep, which is really annoying. At least we have mods for that sort of thing now. If you didn't know, there's now a mod you can get that assigns a bed specifically for your character, so we don't have to have that happen anymore. Right, let's head back outside. You'll notice that I've tried to build a little bridge section over to the carport. This wasn't easy to... oh no.
You'd better keep your mouth shut about this place. Can't trust anyone.
Is it me or is she a really ungrateful witch? Give me a thumbs up if you think Marcy is an ungrateful witch. So anyway, I built this little bridge section over here that I was going to take you up before we were so rudely interrupted by Marcy. I'm going to take you up to this little tower. It's very basic, but I actually quite like the layout of it, and it's nice to have a high position. You can see right out over the settlement there. And I even like looking down and seeing the settlers get about their business. But this was the real idea. You could get up here, and when you get attacked from that direction early in the game, it was great to come up here with a sniper rifle. You could pick everybody off as they come into the settlement. Even now, on subsequent playthroughs, I still try and build something like this on top of this house. It's the best place to come and defend the settlement, really. Oh no, Preston's whistling. Quick, go! Quick, avoid Preston. Now down here, obviously another empty house, but I decided to put a couple of shops in the little carport section down there, as a lot of people seem to come past that area. And a little bit of roleplay, but I like them to think they're drying out of the rain there. 2 guard posts and some turrets, just guarding the road as people came into the settlement. And another dorm room, again extremely basic like the first one, just 6 beds. Simple decoration. It was originally going to be the female doorman, just a little role play thing I was doing. Of course it doesn't work. Wanted to build on top of that as well originally. That was the original idea. Keep going up, building higher levels on things. Everything's blocked up. Junk fences. Didn't use very many junk fences in the end. Started off with them, took most of them out and replaced them with the wall sections. This building also boarded up, you can see there. But this is where all the electronics are. We've got the settlement beacon and the raid beacon, which is probably better off in the middle of the settlement thinking about it. Main entrance here. This was a little funneling section. The idea here is anybody coming over the bridge has to funnel down these walls. And I was going to have a lot more turrets originally. Just ended up with 2. But we was going to have them at this other end as well. So if you come down here, you get hit with turrets. Usually shotgun turrets I put at the end of those sections. Now this wall, I originally wanted to go all the way along. Something else that didn't get finished. Couldn't work out how to go around that little curved section. Coming up this section, I quite like this little boardwalk. Basic guard post. Glitched into the wall there. I quite like the way that looks. And I like the multi-level aspect to this boardwalk here. Using the higher guard post on the different levels of the platforms there. There's something about it I quite like the aesthetic of it. Of course it's incredibly basic and simple. All the early wooden pieces. You could do with realigning. I'd like to come back and do something like this again one day.
You hear about that farm run by ghouls? Isn't that something?
This was going to be the Brahman pen. Didn't really understand how the Brahman situation worked at the time. Now I know you can have multiple Brahman. Other guard posts. And an internal gate system. Of course it hangs a little off the floor there, which is quite annoying. Right, so taking you across the other side. This is the wall on the far side now. And you can see from the stairs there I was going to build another layer on top. I wanted a walkway like this that goes all the way around this section. I could tell early on that we was getting attacked from over here, which is why I built such a big structure here. I wanted to put a second level on it originally. I kind of think this has a First World War, almost like trenches vibe. And as it turns out, that little island there is where the spawn point is. So I was right, this was an area we was getting attacked from. Turret on the top there, trying to come up with ways to put turrets, elevate them and stand them on things. Something that could have been a little storage area underneath it there. Didn't have much to do with those sort of things at the time, but now we have crates and things you could put in there. That window was good just to come down and shoot the raiders yourself. Plenty of opportunity to get in there and defend the settlement personally. And the main building in the centre here is yet another dorm room. And you can see I've changed the layout of these slightly now to go with the smaller beds and the little foot lockers. I think it gives it a more military look. The idea was to have all the guards from the settlement be in this particular dorm and all the settlers in the other 2. And then we have these 2 guard towers just over the main entrance. I like the idea that you can get 2 settlers guarding the main bridge. So I think I'll take you around the other side of the bridge and we'll show you the entrance coming into the settlement. Let's take a look at the settlement coming in from the Red Rocket side. I've been thinking about this and I'm looking around the settlement again with you guys. I think it's not a bad layout. And I've been thinking about maybe coming back and finishing it off. Is that something you'd like to see?
I lost track of how many blisters I got.
Calm down, mate. You're only going from here to Red Rocket. It's not that big a deal. So anyway, is that something you'd like to see? Would you like to see me come back and finish this? Do I use the DLC pieces? Do I stick with purely vanilla pieces? How about even mods? Would you like me to come back with mods and finish this settlement off and build it right up? See how far we can get it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. This particular playthrough for me was abandoned and I ended up moving on. So I'd love to know how you guys got on with the building system. Did you stay in Sanctuary? Did you build it up there? Did you ignore Sanctuary and get on with the story mode and then come back to it later? Or was you like me? Did you abandon the first playthrough and come back with a second character? Either way, let me know in the comments below. I'd really love to hear your experiences with the game. I'd also like to know what you want to see coming up on the channel in the future. Would you like to see more raw settlements like this with vanilla builds? Would you like to see me use mods, go back to the old settlements? Would you like to see some of my later settlements, the more complex ones? Would you like build-along videos? What do you want to see? It's up to you. You let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more content, please consider hitting the like button. Helps us out enormously. And also consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. That way we can inform you when all the new videos go live. We're going to be covering all of the Fallout video games. We're going to be covering the Fallout board game, Wasteland Warfare, the tabletop miniatures game, and we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at some of the quirky little merchandise from the Fallout universe we get as well. But until then, everybody stay safe, enjoy your gaming, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Thanks again for watching.